romance doesn't have to be hard work. I think that sometimes we have to start cultivating it in different ways because we do kind of fall into habits. Maybe you bring back something that you guys used to do that created romance for you so that you can easily just fall back into that memory cell of, oh gosh, when we did this, it was so romantic, or it was so fun, or, even reminiscing in those old memories that are super fun and romantic and were maybe in the beginning of your relationship or maybe at some point in your relationship. That can be helpful just right there and then. And maybe it's that you put together a camera roll, what do you call it? An album in your phone that you put some of your best memories in, and you do it individually. Let's come up with five pictures from the past that are about us. It's so easy now to do this, right? In our phones, we can just type in people's names and it gives us all the photos. And maybe you choose 5. These are my top 5. And then maybe you choose a day of the week that you say, hey, this is going to be sort of like our date night or our romance night. And let's just pull up these pictures and just reminisce. So it's not that you even have to go anywhere. And it's not that you have to, create some big date, but you might just have that date where you just talk about the good old times. And maybe there's another date where you talk about what you would like to experience in the future. And maybe you come up with like, what are 5 locations around the world that you think and I think would be really romantic? And you spend a little time doing that, again, individually. And then you come with the curiosity to your, I'm calling it a date, but it could be a dinner. It could be, but something that you sort of deem as like a special time where you're actually going to take time out to talk about this and that you're going to actually prepare for it. Because what that does is not just give you something to do, but it actually starts to set an intention energetically in your heart and in your mind to think about the other person and to think about your relationship with the other person. And why was that memory so much fun? What did they do? Gosh, when you held my hand on the bridge in Venice, or when we had that gelato and it spilled down in front of your shirt and we laughed about it. It's like those little things that can really be fun to reminisce over. And I think sometimes we just don't do that enough. I'm not saying live in the past. I'm just saying reminisce about the good moments to bring back some of that spark, and then talk about new opportunities that can come in the future. But the most important thing is to stay in the present. And to do that, I think what's so easy and can be so fun and yet so difficult all at the same time is to have, let's just call it a tantric date. That if you actually had a date with your partner and you said, we're not going to talk about anything, and you just do some soul gazing. If you haven't done soul gazing, it's super easy. But again, what are the eyes? They're the windows to the soul. So you have to show up and you have to be present and you have to make eye contact, which means you can't be looking away. You can't be looking at your phone. You can't be, you have to be present. And in that moment of now, when you're present with that person, then I would allow yourself to just feel into your own body. What am I feeling? And so interesting, because a lot of people, depending upon where you're at, it's not a judgment. It's just like, hey, we all have our different things. They don't want to make that eye contact. Or once they do, it just really makes them feel vulnerable. And so that's really the point, is that you want to get to that vulnerable space where you're like, yeah, I want you to see me and I want to see you. And so you can take that moment right there to now. It doesn't require anything but your presence and your desire to want to connect and feeling into your body and feeling, is there anxiousness? Is there an emotion that's coming up? And you may have no idea why, but I would encourage you to not push that emotion down. So if we spend that time, I think really just looking into each other's eyes and being present with one another, I feel like you're going to find there's going to be some deeper things that come of it. I appreciate you every week. If you're on with me live or you're watching on replay, you can always go to bethbell.me/question, submit your question there, or put comments in the show and I'll pick them up for next week. But I love having you here with me live. The engagement is super fun. And if you want additional support, you can always go to bethbell.me. There's sessions you can book. There's lots of materials, lots of books that get into deep awakening material, like the Awakening and Healing Handbook. There's the Psychedelics Resource Guide. There's also the Herpes Handbook. And of course, there's the book Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics, which is all about unraveling the mind to unveil illusions. Many, many things and resources that you can tap into. Until next week, I am wishing you so much bliss and love on the journey. Namaste.